Change, probably the worst 6-letter word a Disney fan can hear, along with no reservations available, summer 2022, and closed for capacity. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. There are a lot of things to love about Disney World, and there are some things that are decidedly not my favorite. If you're a Disney Pro, or if you're learning to become one, there are a few things that are just bad. But that doesn't mean we're stuck with an unhappy ending. We're Disney Pros for a reason, even if there's something we hate. We know how to fix it. All right, first we're going to start with losing out on dining reservations. The pros know that advanced dining reservations open up 60 days in advance. They know those reservations go live at 6 a.m. EST. That's Eastern, online, and if you're staying in a Disney hotel, you can make dining reservations for the whole length of your trip if you're not staying more than 10 days. They also know that no matter how prepared you are, things can still go very wrong, and you can miss out on that coveted dining reservation you just woke up way too early to get. If you consider yourself a pro or a Disney novice, know that missing out on those ADRs is a problem for everyone. We all experience it. Here at DFB, we pride ourselves on bringing you the latest news and info. That includes visiting new and newly reopened restaurants ASAP, but we don't have some magic wand that grants us dining reservations whenever we need them. We're using the same reservation system you are, which is why we really know how it works and can offer so many tips. We use it a lot. One of the biggest tips our team uses is to be ready to book before reservations become available. That means being into My Disney Experience, either in the app or on the desktop page, or hey, sometimes both, at least 15 minutes before reservations become available, 5:45 a.m. for East Coasters. Sometimes we're even on at 5:30. Have your payment method stored in My Disney Experience already too, so there's nothing keeping you from booking that particular reservation. Remember, you have to have that credit card guarantee just in case you skip out so they can charge you. Give yourself fewer things to click through and fill out. That way you can navigate through the reservation system faster, and there are fewer chances that something will glitch out or take too long as you're trying to book. That means be logged in. Make sure it's not going to sort of log you out and you have to log back in. Sometimes you think you're logged in, you're not actually logged in. You know how it is. Now, occasionally Disney's site and app will have glitches. If no reservations are coming up, keep trying for a few minutes, and you can always call the dining reservation line when it opens at 7 a.m. That's 407-939-3463. This is more for troubleshooting, as Disney highly prefers you make reservations online, but it can come in handy, so keep that number available when you're booking. Also, when you're booking, don't necessarily go day by day through your plans. Instead, book the most popular restaurants first, no matter what day of your trip you plan to visit that restaurant. If you're trying to book Be Our Guest restaurant, Space 220, Oga's Cantina, Cinderella's Royal Table, you're going to want to be on your A game and aim for those reservations first. If you have a lot of popular restaurants on your itinerary, consider enlisting the help of another member of your travel party and divvy up those restaurants. If that restaurant you wanted is completely booked up right away at 6 a.m., don't worry, you may likely still get a reservation ahead of your trip. This happens to our team all the time. You just have to be diligent. Check back daily to see if any reservations open up from cancellations. We've typically had great luck with this strategy. If you're still coming up empty-handed, though, keep an eye out for walk-up wait lists. You can join a wait list for a restaurant on the day you want to dine. The app will even give you an estimated time before you'll be seated, but only certain restaurants show up with walk-up wait lists. And if you're not up for leaving that advanced dining reservation hanging, opt for some of Disney World's more underrated restaurants. Several places are relatively unknown by the average Disney goer that are actually DFB favorites, and we've got a whole video that'll tell you about those. Just check that out so you've got a solid backup list in mind just in case. Number 2 on our list, Disney holding back on the details. Now, if you're a Disney Pro, you've probably signed up for our newsletter so you can stay up to date on all the latest updates and info coming out of the parks. And you probably get texts from family letting you know about something Disney is doing that you heard about weeks ago. Staying up to date on all those announcements can be exciting, but the sheer lack of detail is sometimes really frustrating. There are so many announcements for new rides, but no solid release dates for a lot of these. And that keeps us on our toes. Tron Light Cycle Run was originally supposed to open in time for Disney World's 50th anniversary. That's come and gone. Then it was speculated that a fall 2022 opening seemed on track. Now there are rumors this coaster may not open till 2023. Disney hasn't shared any dates. The Magic Kingdom Railroad is also closed while this construction keeps going, but no real reopening dates there either. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind Seems to be further along as Imagineers are getting the chance to actually ride the attraction now, though there's likely still a good amount of work to be done. This one is officially slated to open summer 2022, though that could mean May or late August. It's still a pretty big window. We're still waiting for any news regarding the Moana Journey of Water attraction coming to Epcot. So why is Disney extremely vague even when they can make an announcement about an opening? Because things can and often do change when it comes to building million-dollar attractions. The pandemic pushed back opening dates for multiple restaurants and rides. That's why we're still seeing those hypothetical dates for Tron pushed back. And remember how long it took us to get to Space 220? Years. And the vagueness covers Disney and you in case there are unexpected setbacks. Imagine you plan a whole trip around a new ride opening, but something happens and it doesn't open. Don't plan a trip yet if there's an attraction you're waiting to experience. You don't want to plan prematurely and find out Guardians or Tron will open right after you get back from Disney World. The best way to find out when stuff will open is by following along with us here at DFB. If you're not signed up for that newsletter, the link is just below this video in the description, and we give you all the information we get as soon as we get it. Number 3, price increases. Yeah, nobody likes price increases. This is for pros and newbies alike. Join forces on this one. If you're a Disney pro, you probably remember the good old days when tickets were $40 a day, last seen in 1998 when Animal Kingdom opened. Now it's $109 per day on the cheapest days. You could also buy an annual pass in 1998 for $400. Now, or at least when they're being sold again, they're $1,299. Even 5 years ago, a one-day ticket started at $97, while annual passes were just $749. Disney World is always going to be expensive and prices will always increase. That's how supply and demand works. But you can do some things to help ease the sting. Know when to expect those price increases. Disney will never announce when a price increase is coming, but historically, ticket prices go up in February or March. We haven't seen ticket prices go up since February 2020, and while price increases don't happen every year, they do happen. 35 of the 50 years Disney World has been open, if you want specifics. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. If you're considering buying tickets in January or February and it doesn't make a huge difference if you do it sooner, I'd do it sooner. Still, you won't be able to plan around price increases, so the best tip for mitigating higher charges on your next trip is to budget in advance. Save back more money than you think you may need, and don't forget about those little costs that tend to slip through the cracks when planning, like paying for parking, adding tips, buying souvenirs, etc. Buy park essentials beforehand so you don't have to pay the big bucks for those items on site as well. Ponchos, sunglasses, sunscreen, over-the-counter medicine, etc. Look over all the enhancements, quote unquote, add-ons and upgrades, and decide if they're right for your trip as well. Not every travel party is going to need Disney Genie Plus, and they're not going to need it every day. Fireworks parties, park hoppers, you can get rid of a lot of unnecessary costs if you only buy what's right for your group of people and not the things that are just being marketed to you all the time. Number 4 on our list, dismissing ride etiquette. Your cadaverous pallor betrays an aura of foreboding, almost as though you sense a disquieting metamorphosis. Is this haunted room actually stretching, or is it your imagination? Now imagine 15 people quietly or not so quietly repeating those lines just a little bit off from the actual narrator as you're riding Haunted Mansion for the very first time, and you're wondering, what have I gotten myself into? I can't actually hear the ride narrator. Is this a cult? I get it. You love Haunted Mansion. You know every single line, but this is not a trivia game, and it could very well be someone's very first time on the ride. Reciting Haunted Mansion pre-show, or any pre-show for that matter, out loud at the attraction can be a distraction at the ride. But you can sure impress your friends and fam outside the ride afterwards if you really, really need to. It could be other guests' first or 50th time experiencing the attraction. Either way, you gotta respect them and their vacation, so don't accidentally spill with the spoilers or anything else that'll take away from their experience. That's probably one of the most benign examples of bad ride etiquette, so don't beat yourself up if you've literally done exactly that. But how about those things that really drive the Disney pros into a frenzy? When folks save a spot in line for a bunch of people where a huge travel party will have to squeeze past many guests who've been waiting patiently in line, flash cameras on rides and in shows, holding up your iPad to film something, that picture is never going to come out the way you want it to, and flash during a show can really mess with an actor. So just be courteous, guys. Just be cool. It makes a huge difference. And coming on the heels of that one, number 5 on our list is being rude to cast members. Guests are hot, tired, hungry, standing in line for hours, and when the final straw breaks the camel's back, cast members are usually the ones receiving the backlash. Disney cast members often get the brunt of an issue that's not their fault. I do get it. When something goes wrong on the vacation that you've been planning for years, you've spent thousands of dollars on, you're going to be mad. But believe me when I say that being rude to cast members is going to get the exact opposite response of what you want to happen. And it's not their fault anyway. Cast members cannot control sold out merchandise, menu changes, rain, or rides that are closed, but they can still help you have an amazing vacation. That's literally their job. If you're frustrated with the situation, take a deep breath and remember cast members have the ability to help, but it makes their job a whole lot more difficult if a guest is working against them, not with them. Now, they can't work miracles, but if your kid drops a fresh ice cream cone on their first bite, cast members have been known to get you another one without batting an eyelash. Be sure to also listen to cast members when they're giving instructions, i.e. asking people to step aside for cavalcades, parades, not clogging certain sections of the parks. It's all for your safety and not to inconvenience you. If you've had an experience with a cast member that really goes above and beyond, be sure to leave a cast member compliment online and spread your own Disney magic while you're in the parks. You can swing by guest relations too to let them know about your amazing experience, or tweet at WDW Guest Services with the hashtag cast compliment. Number 6 on our list of things Disney pros hate: change. Yeah, Walt Disney once said, Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. We still kind of hate when things change, though. Whether you're nostalgic for 80s Epcot Center, the Great Movie Ride, or Wishes, there's always one thing that Disney pros wish would come back. But pros, let me ask you, would Disney World be as fun if things were exactly like they were 10 or 20 years ago? Yeah, the pricing would be fun, but we'd have nothing to look forward to. No Tron coaster, no Guardians of the Galaxy, and we might still be riding Stitch's Great Escape. Nobody wants that. And maybe you're not all about those specific new rides, but I bet the wave of American flavors isn't showing up on too many lists of things people wish that Disney never got rid of. Sorry, the wave, but I'm all about that burger at your replacement, Steakhouse 71. To keep the parks fresh and new, you gotta change out some of the old, even if we still mourn the losses. Don't knock it before you try it, though. Even though some are still sad over the Great Movie Ride being replaced by MMRR, you've got to experience it before making any decisions against it. And even if you do experience a change firsthand and aren't too keen on it, remember that others might feel differently. So don't think the change was a complete flop. The Great Movie Ride has a lot of stuff adults recognize, but kids are probably going to enjoy the new Mickey Mouse cartoons more than a scene from Casablanca. For every change you don't like, there's bound to be a change you do like. Try to find the positives first, but remember it's a-okay to still have your qualms with change. Not every change is permanent. Disney may be a huge corporation, but they do listen. We're starting to see Disney test out moving some rides out of the individual attraction selections and into the regular list of rides available with Disney Genie Plus. For a period of about 2 weeks, you don't have to pay extra on top of extra to ride Space Mountain and Frozen Ever After. That test does have an end date, January 3rd, but it could be a sign that Disney's trying something new to combat the negative response some people have had towards the new Disney Genie system. So they do listen, and social media is very powerful. Number 7 on our list, the weather. Why do pros hate the weather? It's a trip variable you cannot control, no matter how well you know the parks. No, Disney does not have their own weather dome, don't even ask. What you can do is prepare for the worst, and by worst I mean torrential pop-up thunderstorms, unexpectedly cold temperatures if you're traveling during the winter, and shockingly hot and muggy days in the summer. Find a great weather app. Our team likes AccuWeather since it shows a minute-by-minute forecast, so you have a better idea just how soon you need to run for cover from an impending rainstorm. Be sure to pack those extra socks and shoes, even when the rain is done and cast members are out there with giant squeegees. Seriously, that's what happens after it rains. You might encounter puddles. Bring dry socks, bring a whole dry outfit for the kiddos, bring extra layers for nighttime when temperatures drop. I've worn winter coats, hats, and gloves in Disney World in January. Pop that stuff in a locker or keep it in your car if you drove so you have some warm layers to pull out after the sun goes down. Oh, and when the weather does get rough, the pros know you don't leave the park unless you're drenched and will be much happier after a pit stop at the hotel. Crowds will drop dramatically after those storms, and you could end up with a window where ride wait times are exceptionally low if you stuck out the rain. Number 8 on our list, things Disney pros hate: crowds. The pros hate this one because it's another variable we can't control. Trying to predict crowd levels can be a planner's nemesis. Now, there are times of year when you can count on huge crowds in Disney World, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, long weekends where schools have off, spring break. But sometimes big crowds may catch you off guard, like if you forgot it was marathon weekend when you booked your trip. Even if you're crowd averse, that doesn't mean you can't visit during crowded times. Don't be afraid to split one park into multiple days and only do half-day parks if you have the time. You can spend one day hitting up Magic Kingdom in the morning, then ducking out in the afternoon. Then another day you can head into Magic Kingdom later so you can see the fireworks show. Also, use those early theme park and extended hours if you've got them. Typically, Disney hotel guests can get into the parks 30 minutes before everyone else. If you're traveling before January 3rd, you can get in a whole hour ahead of time. And those staying at Deluxe Resort can stay after the parks close at Epcot and Magic Kingdom on certain nights. Track down less busy sections of the parks to take a breather as well. Liberty Square Riverboat is peaceful, or you can head over to Tom Sawyer Island, which is usually pretty uncrowded. There are lots of little corners in Epcot you can duck into, like the Shanghai Disney exhibit in the China Pavilion or Impressions de France, in France, obviously. In Hollywood Studios, stop in Walt Disney's One Man's Dream and Mickey Mouse Vacation Fun for short films that net you a seat and some AC. Animal Kingdom has Rafiki's Planet Watch with a full petting zoo and a relaxing train ride. And check out the animal trails. In the afternoon, most folks will have moved on to other things, and you might find them pretty empty. Also, be sure to book those dining reservations to avoid the worst parts of crowds. You may have a hard time getting the most popular reservations during the most crowded times of the year, but any dining reservation will get you some time off your feet, a good meal, and a chance to escape those crowds outside. Even if the parks are wall-to-wall people, you don't want to spend your whole trip hiding out. You want to ride some rides. Consider Genie Plus to get on rides faster. Crowded times are when this system is going to be your best bet. Yes, you'll spend $15 per person, or anywhere from $7 to $15 per person if you're buying access to one of the fancy rides, but when you consider how many hours that might save you, it can be a good decision to put up the money there and maybe opt for one less sit-down meal over the course of your trip. We have other videos about avoiding crowds and how to deal with them because they are our nemesis, and that goes for everybody, along with videos coming soon about when to visit with the lowest crowds, so stick with us here at DFB Guide as you prepare for your next trip, Disney Pro or not. Yeah, some things Disney does or some of the things that happen in Disney World can drive some of us pros up a wall. But since we're pros, we also know how to take it in stride and work through some of those negatives. Disney World may be a magical place, but sometimes not all parts of it are magical, and that's all right. The biggest tip I have is that you define your own trip. So if you decide you're going to have the best trip ever, you might just do that, so long as you have a good attitude and some Disney pros sharing their Disney Pro tips on your side. That's why you're here at DFB Guide. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. We are going to get through this Disney trip together. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.